80 freaking degrees out. If I get to wear a t-shirt and shorts, then the Civic should be able to take its top off too. 20 bucks says that I forget these screws right here later in the video. If I'm right, you gotta Venmo me. My Venmo is down below. Where do I put you? I didn't think about this. In the grass? Oh yeah, boys, I like that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh. Bruh, the battery is dead. Very rare start. I technically haven't driven this car since putting the turbo kit on in the last video. So I guess today is kind of the first drive. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I'm Boosted John and behind me is my fully built Turbo LS VTEC Civic that we're getting ready to go to a car show called Automotion in May of 2022. Information about Automotion in the description down below, but I will be driving this car there. I'm racing against the clock to get it ready. Anyway, in today's video, I'm gonna be teaching you guys everything that you need to know and everything that you need to do to convert your Civic to run E85. I know this is like a somewhat confusing topic. I was very confused about it at first. What is an ethanol sensor? Why do you need it? Do you need it in the first place? Do you need certain lines to run E85? All of those questions are gonna be answered in this video, and I'm gonna be showing you everything that you need to know to run E85. In the last video, we installed the turbo kit that I built on the $500 engine that was in here last season. We installed that turbo kit, we got the car running with the turbo kit installed. We have not driven it yet. I have literally only pulled it down the driveway and pulled it back in, but so far everything seems good, everything seems healthy. That's a huge step in getting us to Automotion on May 20th, but again, today we are installing E85. For this process, I'm gonna be starting at the tank, so I'm gonna show you everything that we need to modify for the tank first, and then we're gonna work our way forward, running the line up to the fuel rail and connecting it to the regulator and to the ethanol sensor. I just want to quickly interrupt today's video to remind you guys that there is new merch available for the OG B Series, the fully built turbo LS VTEC engine that has been waiting to be in this car for an entire year. You guys helped build this thing, you guys helped support me and fund this thing, so this merch drop is fully dedicated to you guys. Thank you so much for making this engine build possible. With that said, we've got hoodies, t-shirts, tank tops, tumblers, and stickers. So this is the most amount of items we've ever offered on Blown Motor Club, and get them while they're hot because boys, I'm starting to take away old merch designs that are kind of old at this point. I'm starting to take some off the site, so get them while they're hot. They're not gonna be up forever. And with that said, let's get back into the video. Let's get set up and let's attack that fuel tank. All right, boys, before we even begin, I just want to quickly go over the layout and exactly what I have here so that those of you that are looking to replicate the setup can. Let's start at the fuel tank. The only thing that we have that is regarding the feed line is going to be this Walbro 450 fuel pump. I already have -6 AN line, something like this, installed for the entire fuel feed in this car. It's actually like a nice rubber coated -6 feed line all the way up to a flow-through filter to the fuel rail. What we're gonna be working on today, and kind of the more important part for E85 setups, is going to be the return side. So starting from the rail, I have a bung that is going to adapt into my AEM fuel pressure regulator. It's gonna adapt to -6 AN, and then I have a 45-degree AN fitting coming out of the regulator. From there, we're gonna run a piece of this -6 line from this fitting at the regulator down to another -6 fitting, which is then going to allow us to connect to our ethanol sensor, which will have this -6 fitting on it. Fuel will then flow through the ethanol sensor out through the same style fitting on the other side of the sensor. It will then connect to this 45-degree -6 fitting, and then to the main section of line that is going to run all the way back to the tank. At the tank, we're going to have a 90-degree elbow. This is going to be connected to this fitting right here. This fitting, this is super cool actually, has this little nut on it. We're going to have this sitting in the top hat of the fuel tank, kind of where all the lines connect. We're going to drill a hole for it. It's got a crush washer, and then we're going to have a crush washer on the other side of the top hat, and then this nut is going to hold it on. So the idea here is that fuel is pumped from the pump up to the rail, through the regulator, down to the ethanol sensor, from the ethanol sensor back to the tank, and this little guy will literally just piss fuel back into the fuel tank. That's the setup. That's what we're working with. I'm gonna get started, like I said, in the tank, and this right here is a little surprise that I might have for later in the video. It's pretty sick, boys. Ooh. You know, I've heard people talk about rewiring your fuel pump in your Civic because people talk about the wiring not being thick enough and then your pump kind of stops functioning on the dyno. And while I'm looking at these wires, they look pretty much the same size as the wires that are on the Walbro 450 fuel pump pigtail. And so if Walbro is going to supply me with wires that are the same size as my stock wires, I think the stock wires should be fine. That's my thought. Dude, I have a fuel leak and I don't know where it's coming from. Feed line, good, not a problem. Return line needs to come off. I'm gonna take everything off. Little -6, the hose clamp. To clarify, the only reason that I'm undoing the feed line right now is just so I can get this top hat off, so that way I can replace the pump and modify the top hat to accommodate our new return. This is probably gonna suck to get off, boys. I can either cut this, which I'm kind of leaning towards doing, or I can struggle for a little bit and then cut it. Oh, sick. I have a really full tank of gas right now, so this is probably gonna make a little bit of a mess. Yeah, it's so full, dude. Why did I do this? Drip one more time, come on. Or not. Okay, let's go. The kind of unfortunate thing here is that I have a full tank of 93 and I need to put E85 in this tank before the dyno session. I also don't really want to drive the car until the dyno session, just for the safety of the motor. So good old Boosted John here is gonna have to do a little siphon action on this fuel tank, which is gonna be fun. Let's just close this up for now. All right, I've pretty much just been playing around with ideas for the last like 10-15 minutes here. Here's the old pump. You can see just how much smaller it is than the new pump. The new pump is pretty massive. So old pump is out of the way, taken apart. The new pump had a connector that was incompatible with the stock Honda connector. I've since depinned everything. I'm trying to think of a good solution for connecting these wires. I could just hardwire it, and I think I'm gonna end up having to hardwire it, but I'm trying to think of any other option. That's where I'm at. I'm just gonna get this whole thing set up. I should be able to, oh, you know what? I gotta drill that hole first. Yeah, I got so many things here. Okay, I'm gonna drill the hole first, get this all set up. Maybe I should do it with the pump kind of in place. Yeah, cool. So that way I know where not to put the drain. I should chop this. I should chop that as well. Try to just get in there like a savage and just freaking send her or what? Ah! Just break it off, okay, hell yeah. And then we're gonna just put a hole right there. All right, I finally got it. Pretty tight tolerances here. I hope this lock nut fits. I might have to trim some stuff on like the hanger. It literally threads in. It's pretty gnar. Oh boy, we may have to modify some stuff. Nice. All right, here we go. Brush washer. Thing goes in. Cool. So far, so good. Should I keep screwing it in? Okay, dude, that's freaking perfect. It's gonna drain right back to where the other one drained, and really the only thing that needs to seal is the top. The bottom, it's good if it seals. I mean, I think it's more so the crush washer is there to keep it from coming loose, if anything. So we can tighten this thing up, and that is gonna be permanently installed, boys. Next goes the pump, wire it up, and we can drop this whole basket in. So not the most low profile option, but it's gonna be great. It'll be fine. I really like this. That's pretty cool so far. Hose clamp, where'd you go, buddy? Can we call this a retrofit? Do you think it counts? I think this counts as a retrofit, boys. Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And this guy just freaking straight on there, dude. Just straight on there. I think we got her. Yeah, boys, we got her. Friggin' pumps in, eh? Got to wire it up. Good to go. Boys, I'm not 100% sure how I want to wire this up yet, but I'm thinking I'm probably just gonna cut off the connectors and hardwire them in typical Honda guy fashion. I don't know what to do with these plugs, man. Like, I know I already depinned them and stuff and kind of broke one of them. I don't know, like, do I do that? Do I just put a little dab of solder on that and just tape them? I guess that's kind of weird. Shouldn't do that. I think I'm gonna cut them and hardwire them. I could put solder on that and heat shrink that. Is that a good connection? Is that ghetto? I don't really know what to do. I think I'm gonna solder them, boys. I'm gonna solder them. So I'm finally done with the pump and the basket. This is all set up and ready to go and ready to be dropped in. The only thing is, I have a full tank of 93 in the car and I need to get that out of there. So the next thing I'm gonna do is remove the old fuel return line. I'm gonna just cut it off of the rail, off the regulator, and remove the line, and I'm gonna use some of that hose. I'm gonna use probably all of that hose to siphon the gas out of the gas tank. Cool. We can deal with the regulator side later, but for now I want to remove this line. Boom, baby. It's really dirty down here. Good thing I spent like hours and hours and hours cleaning all this last season. All right, boys, here we go. Oh yeah. Oh, so close. There it is. She's flowing, boys. I don't want to pick up the hose to show you guys, because boom. Boom, baby. Booster John, stealing gas, dude. Let's go. All right, now this is gonna be interesting because I'm gonna be removing the old fitting. All right, elbow's not broken, but that hurt. Old fitting coming out of the fuel rail here, and I'm gonna see if this will fit on the regulator. It's gonna be tight. Only because the intake manifold runner is like right underneath the regulator, so it's kind of tight here. Oh shit. So this is 6AN, which should be exactly what's on the regulator. Oh, that's gonna be really tight, boys. I don't know, dude. I don't know if I can get it started. I can't, there's no way. I don't think I can get it started, boys. I could probably unbolt the regulator and rotate it a little bit. That's probably what I'm gonna have to do. Oh, dude, that's probably plenty of room. Oh yeah, wow. I might have to clearance the fitting a little. No, I think it's fine. Now you might be thinking to yourself, John, you probably thought of a good place to put this gas before you put it in there. Say hi, Danny.
Hi guys.
So where we're at right now is we are making the fuel line from the regulator to the ethanol sensor. We're gonna kind of just have the ethanol sensor floating down here, just right above the subframe. So we need to measure out just a few inches of 6AN line and then cut it to length and make the hose. Nice, dude. I think you got her. Somehow. Let's do it. Yeah, so all right, guys, I made the return line. It's all ran, whatever. It's ready to go. We got the whole basket or whatever set up here and gonna drop her all in. Hopefully everything goes smoothly. Probably a little bit of a challenge. Oh. Dude, that is awesome that, you know, that it all went in really easily. have a lot of excess hose. Yeah, I guess I could just push it up under the tank. Probably do something like that. It's gonna be there. You know, this is gonna have to peek through. Gotta cut some of this. Yeah, I think that cutout's gonna be good. Okay, cool, let's do it. Hopefully it's close. Okay. I don't know if you can see. It's close. I gotta take off like here. All right, cool. Good to know. All right, boys. Did a little bit more trimming. Tank side is sorted completely. That should be all good. And then as I said, Danny and I ran the line. So this is what we're working with. We got a 45 coming off the regulator. Gotta tighten that down. Regulator's tight, cool. Right down there is the ethanol sensor. And then going from the ethanol sensor back to the tank. So things I have left to do are tighten all the fuel lines, make sure they're all good and tight, and then just wire up the ethanol sensor. Once the ethanol sensor is wired up, we should be good. We should have a functioning ethanol sensor that is reading ethanol content in the fuel. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on that. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna do it, so I'll show you guys kind of when I get there. All right, boys, I am at the stage of soldering stuff together. There's one thing that I thought I was gonna have to do, but I kind of was hoping I didn't have to do this thing, but I have to do it. You're supposed to solder a resistor in between two of the wires on the ethanol sensor. I don't have a resistor, so we're going to the auto parts store to get one, and I also need to pick up some red wire for that sensor as well.
I am smart, man. I'm self-smart.
So they had two of the things I needed, but they did not have the resistor. Probably should have seen that coming. I don't know what I'm gonna do. This is a problem. I need to get this done today. Kind of sucks. All right, gentlemen, everything in the engine bay is wired up and hooked up. The only thing that kind of sucks is that I couldn't find a 2.4K ohm resistor anywhere locally, and I do not have one. Unfortunately, I just have to leave the wires hanging for now, and we're gonna pick back up as soon as that resistor comes in. I can't proceed without it. So everything else is done though.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain. Pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane. Pick up the pieces and go rearrange.
So boys, in the meantime, we can't really do any more of that until the resistor comes in. So fortunately, luck of the draw, all the stuff that I need to build the breather box for this car came in the other day. My friend Mark gave me this breather box a few months ago. I've just been kind of trying to figure out exactly how I want to implement it into this vehicle. I decided I'm just gonna do the classic battery tray breather box mount area, but I do have one cool little trick up my sleeve, and let me show it to you guys. This right here is a pretty cool product. This is not sponsored by any means. I've been looking for something like this for a while, and nothing really looked quality, but I found this. This is the Level 7 Performance Quick Vent version 1.1 in silver. Check this out. It's pretty sweet, boys. This is the vent. This is like one of the more like Gucci products I've ever bought. Basically, this is going to take the place of my oil cap for the Civic. You can see a nice like quick vent, right? This is gonna take the place of my oil cap, and then it's gonna provide me with two -10AN bungs to use to vent the valve cover. This is awesome because in the interest of time, I did not drill my valve cover and have bungs welded on. And if you remember, the whole reason that we had to get a new valve cover in the first place is because the bungs that were welded onto the front of my old white valve cover, they were gonna hit the ram horn turbo manifold. So I had to get a new valve cover to prevent the bungs from hitting, but I didn't have time to put bungs on it, so I had no way to vent the valve cover. So this is going to be perfect. This is gonna take the place of the oil cap, just like I said, and we're gonna run these 2 lines straight to where the battery tray is, straight to that breather box. I think it's gonna look rad. All the AN lines that I need and all the fittings came in yesterday. So we're gonna set this up while we wait for the resistors to come in. Dude, who is this girl? Why is she looking at me? Why is she just staring at me through she must be my biggest fan. These fans getting crazy.
John!
So these lines that I'm undoing right now are coming from the back of the engine block. I've been using these to vent the crankcase, and as you can see, I have one on the bottom and one on the side, so that way they vent and then drain back to the block. A lot of you guys have gotten kind of upset in the past that oh shit, that hurt. That I'm draining back to the block. I don't think it's reasonable to get too upset about that. I think that honestly, draining back to the block is a great solution, because if you guys have ever seen like a breather box or like something like this, like a little breather can, under a lot of boost, this thing will literally fill up with oil in one pull, like to the point where it's seeping out. So you don't want, what is this, like a half of a quart, maybe almost a full quart of oil in here and not in there, right? You want it back in the engine. So draining back, well, yes, you're draining like degraded oil back into the engine. Just change your oil more regularly. Change it every 2,000 miles. Like, it's a race car, dude. Should be changing your oil every 2,000 miles. Now that we've got that figured out, dude, these hoses actually line up perfectly. I could just run them through the block. Might not even make these out of AN. So you can see these 2 are the ones that go to the block. This is, since I'm relocating the battery in a future video, this is where the starter is gonna get power from. So I'm gonna have to move that, which is fine. These are gonna drain back to the block, and the fact that they are gonna work perfectly is awesome. All right. Sick. So I just need a little battery tie down, which I have. So now we can install the level 7, the breather cap, and then figure out how we want to run the lines. I'm thinking I'm gonna run 45s off of it. It's gonna go down under the intake pipe, and then 45s coming out of here to meet up with that. I think we're gonna go under. So we got 2 AN 45s. So something I'm going for with this engine bay is I'm really trying to have as much silver in here as possible. I don't really like the whole like black and purple thing. A lot of people do it, and I think it just looks too crazy. So this piece has the same threads as the oil cap. This piece just sits on here. So you just set this here, and then you screw this in. And then this is just the new oil cap. It's this nice like billet aluminum oil cap. And it also has an O-ring, and there's an O-ring on the bottom of this piece. So that seals. You just snug this baby up. I like to, this is kind of a trick, have it like clocked a little bit counterclockwise from where you want it to be. Tighten this up as much as you can by hand, and then kind of like turn this thing, and it'll continue to tighten up that guy in there. So I'm trying to match the angle of this little breather filter. Oops, right about there. Oil cap. So in my opinion, dude, that looks so good with the VTEC lettering, the freaking chrome on here, like the silver intake manifold, all that. I love how this looks so far. Go like that. Oh, I gotta put the 45s on there. Ooh, are they gonna touch? They do not touch, but they are close. Okay, we got these 45s, and we could go down and back. I'm having a hard time figuring out how I want this to look. I heard it's bad to get silicone in your hands. Does anyone know why? Because I sure don't. So this usually helps. I like to leave like a little bit of tape on there, and then you spray both ends. You spray the hose and the fitting with silicone. You get it lined up, and you pray. Kind of feels like I did not get it. I don't know why 10 AN is so hard to work with, but I always struggle with 10 AN. So I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see this or not. I'm trying to show you 10 AN or any kind of AN work. You know, you want to get this hose end thing on here, and you want to get it so that the hose is pretty much all the way up as far as it can go. You should be able to see that. Now I'm gonna spray the thing that goes in here. I'm gonna spray all this with silicone as well, and inside the hose, so that way it slides in nicely, and then we're good on this end. Yeah, that's great. I love that. I chooched one of my AN fittings. Fortunately, I ordered like 8 of them. All right, so as you can see, I'm kind of playing around with how I want these lines positioned. The theme of this build is like quality, but chaotic, which is why I did the wastegate dump and exhaust the way that I did it. Everything about this build so far is like quality, but chaotic. This looks great. Crazy color. This looks great. Crazy line situation. That's kind of what I'm going for. Again, I really wish I got these in silver, dude. I really should have. It would look sick, the silver coming out, but we can always redo this after the dyno. Anyway, I'm kind of playing with the idea of doing some like crazy like loop. I don't know, it's gonna look weird, but let's see. All right, so as you can see, boys, I made the next line, and let's try something stupid here. Let's just see what it looks like. Ooh, I honestly kind of dig it. That's pretty sick. We'll set this down. But yeah, I think that's how I'm gonna do it. That looks pretty rad. Well, I had it set up and I didn't like it, and then I changed it, and now they're touching, and I still don't like it. So I'll show you guys what I come up with for the finished product. After a little bit of monkeying around with it, I decided that the cleanest look was going to be just going under the intake pipe. I think all of you guys will probably agree as well. It was a little bit too much before. The breather box is complete. I just have to get another filter for it, and I have to relocate the battery terminal, like the power terminal. As you can see, it's a little close to my breather box. That's a huge thing knocked out before dyno. The dyno is coming up soon. The dyno tune's coming up really soon. I have not set up an appointment, but it's got to be between now and Automotion, which is on May 20th. So dyno's really close, boys. I'm excited, but so nervous. So guys, it has been a couple days since I've talked to you last. The resistor finally came in, and I want to show you guys how I wired everything. It's pretty simple. All right, so as you guys can see, the ethanol sensor it's right down there. You can see the white, black, and red wires right there. The connector is right down there, so the 3 wires are coming out of it. There's the connector. The red wire is power, white wire is signal, and the black wire in the middle is ground. The black wire for ground heads across right over to the thermostat, and you can see it's grounded right there. That's just the thermostat ground for the ECU. The other 2 wires, the red and the white, go through the firewall. They come out like above the gas pedal over here. I know it's a cluster of wires, but those come out, they go across the center console. They come out right here. You can see we have the red and white, so power and signal. And power is tapped into pin A25. So this is your A connector. You know, these ones are like C and D or something. And then A25 is power. So I do have it tapped into power wire. That's how we're getting power. And then the white wire, which is signal. The white wire goes to black for ANO, which is it's position 0 of the analog inputs. So this is gonna be our actual signal from the sensor to the Hondata for how much ethanol is in the fuel. And then per Hondata's instructions, we soldered in a 2.4K ohm resistor in between the power wire and the signal wire. I don't understand why that is. I've asked around. Nobody has really known a clear answer on this, but I know it's necessary, so we have done it. You can find these on Amazon. I can put a link in the description. But if I hook up my laptop to this USB cable, I fire on the ignition, I prime the fuel pump, and fuel starts flowing through the line, it will display the exact ethanol content percentage in the fuel flowing through the sensor, which is really cool. So we are E85 enabled. I'm gonna take you guys inside right now, show you guys what needs to be done on the laptop to enable everything. This is the section of this install that I couldn't find much information online on how to do. So I'm gonna show you guys how to set up your Hondata S Manager software to work with the ethanol sensor. So let's do it. Okay, gentlemen, so here we are inside the Hondata software. This is my exact map that I've had on the engine so far. I'm gonna show you guys how to get this ethanol percentage display over here, and also how to set it up. First thing is first, you're gonna go into your flex fuel, and the first thing you're gonna do is go ahead, and this is gonna be disabled. You're gonna go ahead and go to digital S300 ANO, S300 V3 only, so this will only work with the S300 to go into the analog input. S300 V3, my bad. That'll be enabled, and that's honestly half the battle. All right, so that's half the battle. The next thing you're gonna come over here and do, it's pretty simple. You're gonna go ahead and right click anywhere in the white box, and we're gonna make one of these ethanol percentage boxes. So right click, new value, right click on that, sensor, analog inputs, ethanol percentage. Boom. That should be all that you have to do. This is going to directly reference the ANO input that you just selected for your ethanol flex fuel input. That's really all that you have to do inside Hondata. If you want to mess around with it and change the color and stuff, you know, you can change the color to whatever. I don't know if it does anything or not, but either way, that's how you do it. There it is. Next time you start your car, prime your ignition, whatever, and you are data logging, it should pop up with the correct ethanol percentage displayed on your little gauge. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete this one because I don't need it, but that's all you gotta do, boys. So guys, I hope you guys found this video entertaining. I hope you guys found this video educational. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. If you have any advice, any suggestions for how I could improve things in the future with projects like this, you know, this is the first time I've done anything flex fuel related. I'm kind of just sharing with you guys the information that I've picked up through the process of learning how to do this. And again, if you guys have any suggestions for me, and leave them in the comments down below for sure. Links to everything that I use in this video in the description down below. Please don't forget to subscribe. I really appreciate it. And please don't forget that there is new merch in the description down below. Blown Motor Club, the OG merch. It's so sick. I'm so excited about this merch. Anyway, that's all I got for today. So thank you guys again for being here. And as I always say, boys, let's remember to plan, commit, execute, and attain our goals. Bye. Poopy butthole.